Perhaps you've seen them out in your local park. People dressed up in medieval or fantasy attire, engaged in active combat. This is the story of 3 players engaged in a game that at its heart is a struggle for power and respect. Every week, these Vermonters transform from average workers to full-fledged warriors. They are called Dagorhir, and the sport they play is far from the mainstream. Daggerheir is a medieval combat simulation sport. Players are pitted against each other in armed combat with foam-padded weapons. Game types range from playing soccer to crossing a bridge. To learn a little bit more, I talked with Central Park's Empire's Grove in the heart of New York City.
So you can kick people's shields, you can grapple them and grab their weapons and try to wrench them out of their hands and stuff like that. So in regards to that, it's a lot more aggressive.
I've been doing Daggerheir for almost a decade. It's a great way to get some stress out, run around in the park, get some exercise, hit people with a foam sword.
There's lots of running.
Team deathmatch, capture the flag. It's just all of those things like you'd play as a kid, like tag and capture the flag, just with a great, fun fantasy element to it.
This mixes it all together in a genre that I love, which is medieval fantasy.
I think that everybody when they're little, well, a lot of people, they want to be like a knight, or you read these stories about King Arthur and stuff, you want to do something like that. Little kids when they're in the park, or when they're hiking, they always want to pick up sticks, hit each other with them. It's kind of a way to get that little kid a chance to swing a foam stick.
A chance to be a child again and play pretend. Like I get to fully immerse myself in a different scenario from real life and get to just have great exercise with it.
You're besting someone else in physical combat, and there's something so fun about that. That's one thing that really dragged me into it. Also, I get to dress up in awesome outfits. That's a big bonus. It's always fun. Because we could just be out here in shorts and t-shirts, but that wouldn't be as fun.
While the large game styles vary, there are basic rules for every engagement. Here 2 people have agreed to duel. After tapping weapons, the fight has begun. When a limb is struck, it is considered dead, and is therefore useless in combat. Anything being held in that arm must be dropped. If a leg is struck, the person struck must go down on that knee. A player dies when 2 limbs are struck or the torso is hit.
Dead. Dead.
Now that we know how they play, let's take a look at why.
Hi, I'm Eddie Beliveau. They call me Leo or Grim here in Daggerheir.
In Dag, I'm known as Ren, but my real name is Shoshana.
Why do I do Daggerheir? Well, for starters, it's good exercise, but frankly, it's also an opportunity to hit people in a legitimately, forceful fashion.
Well, I'm an athlete, have been my entire life, so I bring a lot of athletic ability and intensity. And I think that's something that's necessary in Daggerheir because it's a sport, and you need to be able to bring those kind of skills and qualities to this game.
It's a little bit like a dream come true where you have a combination of both exercise, but you can also experiment with various different things that was pretty commonplace in the past. Different types of sword fighting with 2 swords or a spear, and it just gives you a chance to experience what it might have been like, having to deal with weapons like that and interactions.
Shield bash first, ask questions later.
Definitely there's a sense of community and belonging. Like when you actually sort of earn your place in the group. It does take some time. Sometimes you actually have to, learn how to fight, or at the very least, be a team player. I guess it's just a good way to do something that's almost kind of childlike, but with adults. It's definitely sort of the stuff I've always wanted to do. I used to play D&D, and I didn't really do like the actual LARPing. In fact, I don't really do the LARPing aspect of this, like no real role-playing. It's really just a sport for me.
I do what I want, I go where I want, I drink what I want.
It's an exciting life.
Yep. I'm one with the woods.
Get to hit people with swords. I mean, just in Daggerheir, not to mention the other groups that I'm part of, where we use blunted steel. But this is great because it's full contact. You can really go all out. My fighting style, in some ways, is akin to my name, Leo. I like to be aggressive, strong, but calm. I'm going to bring that presence to the battlefield, and a lot of people will shy away from that. And in some ways, that's part of the aspect of my being, is that intensity.
Where you have to look at the tools that you have, look what you have to work with. Try to figure out ways of using what you have in order to solve a problem. It's more of a philosophy, I think, because what I do for a living is it's a desk job, so it's not even, physically active.
My job, I'm a medical massage therapist, so it's very intense physical work. There is a calming element, so in some ways it is diametric to my athletic ability in Dagorhir, but it's both kind of two sides of the same coin.
Well, I'm a mobile developer. I work on iOS apps, and I'm also an adjunct teacher here at Champlain. And I really enjoy the adjunct work. It's really interesting getting to work with younger people and potential recruits, basically, which I still have yet to do, to reveal to the class that I do Daggerheir and that I want them to come hit me, basically. Although I'm pretty sure I can tease them into that if I give them terrible grades. It's only been recent, but the whole adjunct thing, it's definitely been an experience learning how to teach. And so that kind of is beginning to translate here as I'm becoming more and more of a veteran. Like that allows me to take more new people and sort of apply the teaching methods that I've used for my class in Daggerheir. Well, I can't really say that mobile development has contributed to Daggerheir. In fact, I might even say that my mobile development work has contributed to me being here, just because it's sitting down all day, and here I actually get to move around and have fun.
Grew up playing sports since I was knee-high. Very physical sports, football, wrestling, lacrosse, rugby, ice hockey, wrestling. So very intense, hitting people. So Daggerheir fits right into that. And being an adult at this point, there's not as many leagues that I can really do that in. And this really fills a different niche because I'm a fantasy nerd, that I get to combine both my fantasy nerd and my sports.
You get that on camera?
We're all friends here, we all try to, as much as we can not hurt another person, no matter who we're fighting. And I find the differences to be intriguing because the guys are all different heights and widths and shapes, and some guys are super fit, and other guys, have a little bit of, pudge, but they're still all really good fighters, and it's fascinating seeing such a diverse landscape of physiques. And we're all playing the same sport. We all play it differently based on what we can do physically. And it's interesting seeing how people interact, differently, but yet in a way for the same kind of experience.
Let's see, is it a release? I guess. It's not sort of a aggressive, I have to get this out of my system kind of thing, but it is very much a bit freeing, I suppose. If you're, sort of cooped up all day and you are a nerd and you don't really have anything physical to do and you want to sort of whack people with foam swords, then yeah, this is where you want to be.
While relatively new, Daggerheir's popularity has grown, earning it players all across the country. These foam fighters vary in every way, young or old, rookie or veteran. Friend or foe, Dagorhir is always open to you.
Take that!